Recently, Tectone did a live review of Frogan's response to H3H3. However, during a rant, Tectone decided to go at Frogan, calling her fat and attacking her for her appearance. This resulted in Twitch pretty quickly slamming down the ban hammer on him, and Frogan even did comment on it, but immediately the community pointed out some blatant hypocrisy here, as Frogan has said many controversial things that she's never faced a ban for, such as her saying she hopes that US soldiers get PTSD. And when Tectone's ban was lifted, he also had some choice words for Twitch. Welcome to the internet versus Frogan and Tectone. First, there's nobody who really tweeted this out, but we were able to find the clip that originally got Tectone banned. So here's that clip.
You said based to your own clip, not once, but twice. Did you misspeak 3 times consecutively? No, Frogan, you're a piece of shit. You're a liar, and you live in your own rose-tinted glasses of who you are. However, the rest of the world is not going to fall for this revisionist history you are so desperately trying to push, you fat, disgusting bitch. Not only are you ugly on the outside, you are ugly on the inside, and you should be ashamed. Thank God no man is ever gonna have to see that shit.
Then Tectone took to Twitter to update his audience about the whole situation, where he tweets out, "Banned. Could be 2 weeks, guys. Trying to figure out what happened. Not trying to speculate and remain cool. I'll give y'all updates ASAP, but I might not see y'all for a while." Chibi Reviews replies, "You got banned again? Bro, what happened?" And Zero Dozer says, "He went against Frogan. Twitch defends pieces of shit like Frogan." Dan Saltman replies to Tectone by saying, "Whatever you did, it can't be worse than what Hassan has said in the last 24 hours. And Harley Morenstein replies, "Actually true. He has said some fucking wild things today. I'm flabbergasted listening to some of these clips back. Like, what the fuck is he trying to do right now?" Then Tectone figured out the reason why he got banned, and he made a tweet saying, "Yes, I got banned for 2 weeks for simply calling Frogan a fat piece of shit. I'm not sorry to be honest, and I stand by what I said. However, going forward, I'll do my best to not bring her up again, as me bringing her up only brings her into relevancy, and I'd rather let her punishment be her own failure at being a streamer." 2-time Rising Star award-winning streamer, by the way, definitely not on industry plans. Anyways, I'm gonna stream on YouTube. See y'all there. But I do think it's crazy how I get banned for 2 weeks for calling someone fat, and the things you see on a daily Hassan or Denim stream is 10,000 times worse, and they don't even get a warning. Anyways, yeah, live on YouTube. Eric replies, "The funniest part about Frogan is she's a white girl from Michigan. She's not even Muslim, she pretends." Coconut B replies, "You got banned for 2 weeks for a fat joke, but she got a day for wishing PTSD and death on vets? Lol." Lissy replies to Tectone by saying, "People that achieve somewhat of an improved physique through working hard and don't gain any humility or empathy from the suffering are so strange. Hopefully you'll learn someday." Poppy Alexander replies with these images of Tectone and says, "I think it's hilarious how you lose weight and now suddenly being fat is the ultimate insult. Could not wait to be on the other side of that insult, Lamau. Did you get back at everyone that called you fat? Do they accept you now? Fucking teen movie bully shit. Wildly embarrassing." Frogan herself then quotes Tectone by saying, "Judge me by my enemies." And she disabled the replies, so Tectone screenshots this and says, "The only enemy you got is a salad. She unblocks me to QRT and then reblocks me because she's afraid of the clapback. She then turns off comments because she knows she fucked up. Hassan taught her well. Frogan, legit 2 weeks ago, you said that fat jokes don't bother you at all. Or was that another misspeak?" And Dojangles replies, "This is the Hassan community way." Ma replies to Tectone's original post by saying, "Anyone Frogan considers an enemy, I automatically think better of them." And David Raymond says, "In reality, the only enemy she has is personal accountability. Frogan doesn't get bullied enough." Kingman Lee replies, "Frogan the Hut says what?" Drama Alert also makes a tweet about this situation, showing the tweet that we just read. And Nick Pro Reborn replies, "You're fat. 2-week ban. End this US Senator. 1-day ban. Terrorist website." Punish Majora replies, "Twitch bans you for saying the truth," which explains why Hassan doesn't get banned. Nicholas Diorio quote tweets Drama Alert and says, "Twitch is responsible for so much harassment inflicted to creators like Frogan. It's not even because she's untalented and her success has been inorganic. Frogan and her friends have been allowed to constantly say/do anything they want without consequence. Even a reasonable ban like the one Tectone got will be highly scrutinized because Frogan gets endless special treatment on Twitch. By trying to protect Frogan for reasons unknown, Twitch is ironically inciting so much more harassment against her indirectly. And Common Cops Burner replies, but why? Why Frogan of all people? I get a special treatment for bigger creators, but why her? And Harambe the White replies, she is definitely one of the bigger creators. Lazy Shell replies to Nick with this image in the caption, the face you make when you're a protected two-time rising star piece of shit crybully. Justin replies with this image of Frogan's tipathon in the caption, let's not forget the Twin Tower goal she set to bake a cake of the Twin Towers on 9/11, and it's right here for $6,250. 9/11 baking stream with Raph and Capri. Tectone himself then replies to Diorio by saying, 100% I deserved my ban. The problem is how much other streamers like Frogan and Hassan's Orbiter get away with daily for doing things that are arguably much worse. We just want equal treatment with no special treatment. Cap Corgi replies, if you deserve your ban, bro, every single League/Overwatch/COD streamer needs to be banned for saying the same and worse to their teammates. Dexerto also makes a tweet saying that Tectone was banned, and Poppy Alexander replies, no bigger pick me than a fat dude that lost weight and now wants to feel powerful. Instead of becoming confident and happy, they become even more bitter and evil and try to make people feel the pain they felt. They meaning this type of person, not every fat guy that loses weight, obviously. Tectone himself then quote tweets her with this picture in the caption, OF detected, opinion rejected. And Dr. Damon replies, lol, don't you hang out with a shit ton of them in Ironforge though? Ollie replies, bruh, half of your female friends have OF. Do you reject their opinions too? Poppy Alexander herself replies, oh, so OF is only an insult until you're trying to farm Morgue Pie's viewers at Ironforge Gym. Doesn't Fandy co-own that gym too? Let's check her link tree. Who else? Strong Waifu? And HaloFan97 replies to Poppy by saying, get back to disappointing your family like the dumb you are. Everyone knows what you're trying to do. You're not smart. Being a makes you dumb, and man, you are extremely dumb. And Poppy replies correcting the spelling, your. Tectone then tweets out this screenshot showing that Frogan has blocked him and captions it by saying, what did I do? And Kitsu replies showing Denims has blocked them, saying Lamafau. Also, for some reason Denims has me blocked. Never interacted with her. And Tectone replies, weird. She hasn't even blocked me and the dumb bitch accuses me of crimes daily. And then finally he tweets out that his suspension has been lifted by saying, I got my suspension lifted for good behavior. Live on Twitch and YouTube later tonight. Oh, and by the way, I found out something that you guys are gonna love hearing about. Details later. Twitch has some serious explaining to do. Best friend Kick then tweets out this clip with the caption, Tectone calls out Twitch for playing favorites when enforcing TOS.
Problem is, if any of these other fucks were to do the same shit that I did, Twitch would look the other way. And that's the fucking problem. I don't give a fuck whether I get banned or not, as long as everybody else who did that shit with me
Welcome back, my
also gets banned.
Streamer. Happy to be a part of the
because I found
community
something
for 8 months, Eggy love.
That's quite interesting. Do you guys want to know what that is? So I was banned for 2 weeks. And why did I get banned? Because I called Frogan a fat piece of shit. And to be fair, did I deserve the ban? Absolutely. 100%. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I? I was absolutely berating the fuck out of her. But here's the fucking problem. I get banned for 2 weeks. I think it's a little bit much for calling someone fat. Someone who said they weren't bothered by that comment literally 1 week ago. So I guess I should have been a mind reader, because in the TOS says when someone repeatedly says that they're bothered by something and then you keep saying it, then you'll get banned. But in the TOS, it literally says they have to state that they're bothered by it. And Frogan has gone on record saying she was not bothered by it. She said, oh, it's such a boring insult. Get something new. It doesn't bother me. She said that. So first of all, why the fuck did I get banned for that?
They then continue the thread by saying, Tectone reveals wild find in a Twitch ban survey, and attached this clip.
Secondly, here's how I got unbanned. I had a survey to take. A survey to take if I was a good boy or not. It's a new thing that Twitch was rolling out, which I thought was honestly a pretty good idea. But on that survey, you got to answer a couple questions. And that's how I learned that harassing another streamer is when there's behavior that they warn you about that you keep doing, even though they say that it bothers them. Frogan has gone on record once again saying she was not bothered by being called fat. That is a thing she said, which means I should not have gotten banned. So here's what's crazy. I get banned when, to be honest, I actually didn't break TOS. But here's what's crazy. Do you guys know what question number 4 is on the survey? I bet you'll never guess. Well, why don't I show you? Question number 4. A streamer is talking about a physical injury they experienced in the military. Someone in chat tells the streamer that they deserve their injury and should have been killed. You know what the correct answer was for, does this behavior violate Twitch's community guidelines? Yes, because Twitch does not allow users to wish harm or death on others. Well, that's crazy, because why the fuck is Frogan going live wishing death and harm on American soldiers on a daily fucking basis? You know she never got banned for that? You know she got banned for the race tier list, but she never got banned for the PTSD comment. So what the fuck is that? Because here's the reality. Did I deserve the ban? Yes, but my anger isn't about that. You can't pick and choose who you're gonna enforce the rules on. It needs to be everybody getting equal treatment. Because if they don't, that's where resentment lies. That's where anger builds. That's where frustration and tension are. And let me tell you, as a guy who's pissed off nonstop, that pissed me the fuck off even more. Ridiculous.
Prochias replies, boo-hoo, the side I've chosen to stick with because money is acting the same way they always have. Entire alternative platforms have been developed and popularized over the past 6 years to combat Twitch and YouTube. You've chosen to stuck with the abusive X, so reap what you sow. Asmongold also weighs in when Yeet tweets it out by saying, Asmon shares his thoughts on Tectone's ban for attacking Frogan and attaches this clip.
What Tectone did was socially acceptable. Frogan is a detestable, disgusting person. I think everybody knows this, not by her appearance, but by the content of her character. I find this to be very surprising because I don't even think that's really her either. I think the fact is that, you know, she's probably a nice person, but she just gets on the internet and turns into an awful person. I think that's the truth. I met Frogan in real life and I got along just fine with her. There were no problems. It was a nice, you know, like it was friendly, like there's nothing wrong. And so like, I don't want to say this in a way that like, you know, is like wrong, but like you can't go and say that you hope people, you know, soldiers get PTSD and shit like this. You can't go and say this and be like, oh wow, I'm surprised people don't like me. Fucking duh, people don't like you. Like, fuck. What do you expect? And so anyway, yeah, it's the evil inside. Yeah, exactly. Is she an actual grifter? I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. But like, my point is that, can you get the F word unbanned? Yeah, I'll do my best, man. I will. But yeah, I don't, and you guys know this about me, is like, I don't make insults about a person's appearance. I do sometimes, like every once in a while I will, but like very rarely, right? And even if they insult me, you know, but I reserve the right to.
Campfire replies with this image of Frogan and says, she's disgusting in both ways. Why can't we just be honest about this? Barbotaz says, well, her content is basically cheap cope and Ethan Klein derangement syndrome. Shout out to our tier 3 members and internet representatives Kiko and Sal Soud. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you all in the next episode.